minutes. Players and referees, 2 minutes. Players and referees ready.
Welcome back to CEX Coffs International Stadium here in the lovely Coffs Harbour. Beautiful, beautiful location for State of Origin footy. And unfortunately, not a fairy tale story for New South Wales. They have already lost this series, but we do still have the final match here. Game 3 in what has been a pretty enthralling series nonetheless. Jackson Mills is joining me in the box. Jackson, obviously, there's no such thing as a dead rubber for the players.
Say, don't even mention the word. Don't even mention the word, Jackie.
But here we are, and New South Wales will certainly be looking to stake a claim here. They might have lost the series itself, but they certainly don't want to lose all 3 matches. Here comes Courtney Young, all ball over the top, nearly found an opening, just going astray there, but not a bad start from New South Wales.
Well, you got to play for pride, don't you? If you can't win the series, you still got a New South Wales logo on your chest, over your heart. You still got to play for your team, for your state. So it's good to see the New South Wales girls out there, and I guarantee you they're going to put still 100% into this match. This is not just a friendly, no one wins anything, but New South Wales will be coming out swinging.
Certainly no side wants to receive a clean sweep. Queensland, however, do want to rub in the punishment, so there's plenty to play for still. And inside the first minute, New South Wales slightly dominating field position so far as they spread from right to left and head towards their subs box. Nice little start here. Davis picking up good meters. Courtney Young follows off the back of it. Strong touch coming in from Lucia Files. He certainly is up for this one. Rogers needs some sort of support. Can't find anybody at all. Eventually releases to DeFore, who does the wraparound. Rogers nearly got away from them, and they just about created something out of nothing.
We've seen a few plays like that on the wing where it's fifth and last, not much doing, but the wingers come up with these cheeky little flick passes and the links wrapping round, and another player comes in, switches back. Pretty entertaining stuff, but let's see if New South Wales can capitalise on another error from Queensland. Last game we saw the girls, I think it was 7 sets, and out of those 7 sets in a row, there were 6 errors consistently from Queensland. So let's see if they can come out of that and fix up those errors in this game.
It was very hard to breach Queensland in the first match, of course. A shutout there, 4 points to nil, 4 tries to nil. And the second one, 6-3. So 2 good results so far for Queensland. I know they've got a stern defensive wall. New South Wales will have to throw plenty at it to break it down to 4. Attempts to put it back on the inside. Back to the 7-metre mark. She'll come now. Offered here for Duff. Duff slowing things down. Nicholas is out there as well. Can she get some sort of an opening here. She certainly can scoot. Last play, they won't come the way of Nicholas. Now they do. Oh, looking to find exactly that woman, Sarah Nicholas, but well shut down from Queensland.
Yeah, Carney just sticking the arm out. I thought she may have been able to reel that in. Some unofficial rule, James, agree with me or not, if you can get a finger to it or a hand to it, can you catch it?
Oh, depends. I mean, if it depends if it's fingertips on the very point of it. I think if you can have a crack at it, maybe even try and pop it up for yourself and then get a second snapple. Here they come with Davis diving from distance. Did Curtis get back on side? I think there was a touch that came in before that anyway. Davis certainly wanted it. I haven't seen you play much yourself, Jackson. How are you when it comes to intercept?
Not very good.
Straight to the point. Davis now gifting it on here to Michaelopoulos. Back to the 7 metre mark she comes. Danny Davis looking for support. Oh, the flick pass came out completely unnecessary. It has to be said, though.
So an interesting thing about these games as well, yes, Queensland have wrapped up this series, but there's probably a little bit of pressure still on New South Wales. However, as you saw there from Danny Davis and the previous play before with Sammy Rogers flicking the ball out the back, there's probably going to be a bit of more up footy, throwing the football around. So I dare to say there's going to be some razzle-dazzle on display here at CEX Stadium, James.
Andresen gifted it back towards the middle. Maddock was there, but they jammed in on her nice and quick. A much better start to this match so far for New South Wales than the previous two encounters, where Queensland got off to a pretty quick start. Rochelle Davis pushes it on, hopping into acting half now, and Danny Davis is there in the link position. Andresen meets her and makes the touch. Crawford comes forward. Now to Pappenhausen. Last play here. Courtney Young has them backpedaling. Ball over the top. Diable back on the inside. Oh, through the gap and just shut down. Great defence there from Marama Thomas.
Well, a sandwich between Marama Thomas and Markey. Pappenhausen just getting hipped at the line. He had a bit of space to work with, but Queensland shutting that down quickly.
Now a chance to work it away from their own end here, Queensland. So good in defence, always working. That's what we mentioned, Jackson. I mean, neither of these sides want to give an inch here, even if the series is wrapped up. New South Wales desperate to get themselves on the board. Queensland want the clean sweep.
What do you think about it, James? There's 800,000 people that play touch football. Not many get to say they've represented their state at Opens level in any sport, let alone a sport that has 800,000 participants. Everything is on the line here, both for Queensland and for New South Wales.
Jerseys are certainly at stake on a personal level. A couple of players in here that have really put their hands up to be in the side long term, especially for Queensland. Grayson comes to mind, as does this woman, Rachel Walsh, who's looked really good all series. Nice little defence coming up, though, to shut things down from Pappenhausen. She might not have been able to squeeze through herself. Previous attempt at the Queensland line, but that was good from her there. Another chance to work it away for New South Wales. Just over 5.5 gone in this one. Diable, of course, picked up that injury in the second match. Seems to be moving around a lot freer for this third game. Here she is now with the ball.
Spoke to her after the last game, James. Just a little cork to the thigh.
They definitely would have brought out the deep heat. And one thing I've learnt is certainly wash your hands before you then go to the bathroom with the deep heat. Had many a poor experience with that, I can tell you now. The dummy comes in here from Queensland. My shifts it back. Files then takes the touch. For the come. Can you stop smirking over there, please? My pain, not yours. Touch comes in here from Nicholas. Forward they go. Susie, the captain. Last play now. Andresen. Files looked to bat it on, but in came Crawford and shut it down.
Well, Crawford was shutting down. The winger was unmarked. If Andresen could have just launched it. He does have the capability to throw the long ball right to left. He just had a quick look. Crawford was shutting down hard too. It wasn't just an easy shutdown from Haley. He was really coming in. Marquis, we mentioned, he's been across the line a few times. Leading try scorer last year for Queensland. In this Women's Opens fixture, unmarked, walking over as she received that ball.
To 4. Now Rogers finding Maiolo. Here they come now. Rochelle Davis. Good scoot out of dummy half, suggesting they weren't onside. Referee agrees. Another set of 6 to come here for New South Wales. Heads up footy. That's certainly been the word so far for New South Wales. They're throwing it around a fair bit too. A play here from Davis. And out there as well as Slattery. Keep your eyes on her. She can certainly jink and move. Here she is at acting half now. Slattery is certainly not onside, you'd imagine there.
Good read, though, and Andreasen saw it coming from a mile. Hence why she was up in the face of Slattery and Davis.
Here is Davis now, takes the touch. Slattery popping it off for Danny Davis. Oh, nice ball. Just missed out on Maiolo, though.
Look at Maiolo talking to Davis as well. I am walking over, she said. Davis, unfortunately, going to that woman on screen, Sammy Rogers. But Maiolo was wide open in between the middle and the link.
And there must have been a touch there, too, from Queensland, because New South Wales with another set here. And yet another one coming. So penalties coming freely at the moment for the Blues. Of course, if you get about 3 straight, you're looking at a woman sitting down.
Well, Davis has some fantastic footwork, and we've seen her on the previous set, sweeping around from that right to left platform, trying to catch a Queensland defence off guard.
Davis off the left foot, finding sister Rochelle. Slattery. Now Rochelle Davis caught. In an acting half is Slattery. Finds Danny Davis, takes the touch. Rochelle looping back around, back through the middle. Slattery trying to find an opening. Curtis was there. He shut it down. Folds was also watching in case she was needed. Couple of plays left here for the Blues. Davis to Maiolo. Maiolo touches it down. Davis, Maiolo still coming forward. Andreasen is everywhere at the moment in defence. They can't get around her.
With that fast footwork that I was talking about with Davis, she runs that sweeper platform so well from right to left or left to right. It doesn't matter, but it seems to be working for New South Wales. As we mentioned before, Maiolo was walking in if Davis picked the correct option, which was Maiolo. Why go away from it? Continue to run the same play that's going to be most effective for your team. You see, a lot of teams do it. They try one thing, score. Go to another thing, don't score. Just keep going to what's been successful and what's actually putting tries on the board.
I think a great example of that recently, not within touch football, but rugby league, was that match where CSC for Talakai was just tearing apart Manly in that first half. And then for the second stanza, the Sharks pretty much didn't go back to them at all. It was quite bizarre scenes. And we're seeing that a little bit here from New South Wales. They know where the openings are. It's not taking the right option. Rogers into acting half as Dybel is back onto the field. Oh, good jinking run here. Dybel's got them backpedaling. Surely an opening coming somewhere. Oh, they took a little too long to release on that occasion. Just cramped her link partner.
Yeah, I think it seemed Dyball actually tumbled to the ground. I would have given the ball straight back to her if she was on her feet. The Queensland left edge defence was absolutely cooked. I think there was Marama Thomas, Catherine Sargent, and Goodsall out on that left-hand touchline. I think that would have taken a lot of effort to stop Dyball at full pace while Queensland were going backwards.
Not playing it square there, Queensland, so the changeover to come here for New South Wales. And incredibly, no score after 10 minutes. You don't see that very often at all. For Queensland, at least in this women's division, the defence has been so strong. It has been difficult for New South Wales to carve them up. Although here comes Rogers doing exactly that. The pass is just a little wide though. She had Crawford in support. Could have potentially even dummied again and gone herself, Rogers. She'd opened them up.
Yeah, she won't be happy with that. Sammy Rogers in all space in front. So was Crawford. If the pass was executed perfectly, Crawford probably was scoring in the corner to send New South Wales up by 1. Again, a few unforced errors from both teams. We haven't seen Queensland really attack their line. There's only been one shot and unfortunately got the better of them. As did that, unfortunately, for Queensland. Yeah, I think it's only been 2 attacking sets for Queensland on the line, James. Hasn't been too much action down there.
Much improved performance, this one for New South Wales compared to the first 2 matches. Sammy Rogers, I want to see her in a little bit more space. She is regarded as the best winger in Women's Opens division. Plenty of experience behind her as well as Davis comes forward inside the final 40 or so metres here. All the flick pass came out from Danny Davis. Not the first time either. Just looking to open up any kind of an opportunity here against the Queensland defensive line. I've asked a few questions, New South Wales. No answers as of yet. Score remains nil all. Just shy of 12 minutes gone. Of course, 20-minute halves here for the State of Origin 2022 series, and still the men's open, the decider to come after this one. Moving away from them now. Maddox tries to open up a bit of space. Well watched, and DeFore was in there to shut it down along with Davis.
That's the first time Maddox actually touched the ball. I think it's been nearly 12 minutes played. A good setup, though, by Queensland. See if New South Wales can now capitalise with ball in hand as they head to their substitution box.
DeFore, running into her own player there. Somehow Maiolo was able to snapple it up regardless. And just having a look at DeFore on the sideline, she is clutching at herself now. That's a big collision between the two teammates. Young or found Mayolo, who nearly got away from them. Good watchful defence, though, from Rackerman, who also hasn't seen a great deal of ball. Off it comes now to Carney. Pops into acting half a second time over.
Oh.
All late pass. I thought that surely there was a touch first. Yes, referee's on the spot. Files is quick, but it won't matter.
Tell you what, she pulled away, then Files. It'd be a good matchup between Files and Michaelopoulos. Actually, Michaelopoulos and Sammy Rogers both were sprinters back in the day. I tell you what, Files look quite dangerous up that left touchline. Be a good race between Rogers, Michaelopoulos, and Files, I reckon.
She certainly can move. She's actually got quite an interesting running style, which reminds me of Justin Hodges back in the day. It's almost heel to heel as opposed to toe to toe, but she can definitely scoot Lucia Files. The Dyball comes with it here for New South Wales, straightening up the attack. Can we see that sharp left foot of hers come out again? It's a beautiful step. Hops into acting half now. Dyball offers it onward. Michaelopoulos to Young. Young over the top. What a ball that is. Rogers is there in the spot. The referee's going to move. That means the pass is good. And Sammy dives in for the opening try of this final match in the Women's Open Division for State of Origin 2022.
Very smart play from the Blues, going against the grain. It's the ball off the deck from Dyball that sets it up nicely. Courtney Young, hands out in front, gets the ball, passes it straight through the torso, and what a lovely long ball it was out to Rogers. Good team effort. Great touch football try from New South Wales, using the Queensland defence against them. Great vision by Hannah Dyball and Courtney Young then to throw to the long pass. There you go, New South Wales up 1-0.
Well, it's taken 14 minutes to arrive. We knew it needed something special to get across the line, given how stern the Queensland defence is, and certainly we got what we asked for. Jackson Mills. Curtis goes very close to finding an opening herself. She'll play it now to her captain, Kim Susi. Curtis takes the quick drop off. Files now using those long, rangy legs to get very close to the line. However, that it will be caught on the last here. So New South Wales surviving with just over 5 remaining in the first half. Once more, they push forward. Pressure back through the middle here from the Queensland Lynx as New South Wales get fresh feet onto the ground. A little bit too over-exuberant there from Maddox. Hasn't seen a great deal of time with the ball. Gives away a penalty there. Iolo will touch and go again up over halfway. Rogers into acting half. Now Rochelle Davis off the right foot, then straightens off the left. Slattery to Davis. Back to Slattery. Backpedaling here is the Queensland defensive line. Danny Davis at the line. It post. New South Wales. This is much better play than what we've seen from this side so far throughout the series.
Well, there was a missed opportunity with the exact same setup where Davis swept from right to left, unfortunately hitting the winger, but on this occasion, using her footwork and deceptiveness, looks like she's going to dive at the line. Maddox collapsing into Davis, and Mayolo reeks over. Well, that's New South Wales. 2 tries to nil. Mayolo knows her way across the try line. Actually played a World Cup in 2019 with Mayolo in the Mixed Opens Australian team and played the series with a broken finger. Pretty impressive effort. Just goes to show how much it means to not only play for New South Wales, Australia and Queensland. Definitely means something to these players.
Of course, I understand as well, international fixtures are back on the cards for 2022. Some of these players out here would certainly be looking to put their hands up. Are we expecting, I would say, a fair smattering of both sides to be featured in that end team? Or given how dominant Queensland's been throughout this series so far, we expect a bit more of the Maroons to be featuring in that women's open side?
It's a good question, James, but there is so much talent on the park. It's some players vibe in different options, and again, another thing you have to take into account is some players are selected to play against Queensland, where for Australia, sometimes you're playing to beat New Zealand. You're not picking the best team for Australia, you're picking the best team to beat New Zealand, and particular players have different skill sets that New Zealand don't like, basically. So sometimes in order to beat New Zealand, you have to pick the correct players, which is actually an interesting topic, but I'm not a coach, so don't quote me, James.
Not a coach, not a selector.
Not anything, really.
Nothing but a good commentator in the box. That's Jackson Mills, that's for sure. Hannah Dyball pushing forward. Rogers into acting half now. Mayolo, all good touch came in from Maddox to shut things down. Rogers wanting there. I think there might have been a little extra something in that touch. A set of 6 to come here for Semi Rogers. She gets up over halfway now and then plays it 10 metres into the opposition territory. Davis off the right foot. Couple of big dummies coming in there. Ooh, strong contact. Ruled to be play on for now. Davis back to Slattery. Feigns to go back on the inside. Oh, they worked the number. Overlap. Davis, however, opened up the gap. Oh, geez, there was tries on offer everywhere, but unfortunately none of them came off.
Well, Danny was on again. She's run that platform 3 times now. Successful one of them. But Davis again on that sweeper platform. We can see her coming from a mile away, right to left. Watch my with the pink laces. She's cooked. She's absolutely cooked. If Davis gives the ball off the deck to Danny, but she knows it too. Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
The try gone begging there for New South Wales. They do still have a 2-try lead though. 2-0 with under 2 minutes to play in this first half. Plenty of time though for Queensland to work their way back into this one. Much better performance so far from the Blues girls. Having lost out in game 1, 4-0, and game 3, game 2, 6-3. They come up towards halfway now. Danny Davis fires it on for Michaelopoulos. Little strike dump too. Slattery picks up good meters. Once more, a nice set. Working forward here for New South Wales. However, the transition is not 100% smooth. They might still get to throw a few things at them here, though. Rogers back on the inside to Nicholas. Oh, nearly opened up a gap once more. Getting very involved so far, Semi Rogers, and coming in off the wing looking for work.
She's out looking for touches, we mentioned before. Looking for those super coach points, touches on the balls, meters gained.
Oh, great ball here,
great
though.
ball to Markey.
The Queensland Markey has a bit of room to move. Across they come with Duff, who does shut it down. They've got to get supporting players onto the pitch now, though, Queensland. Duff once more comes up with the challenge. Now Thomas. Thomas drives forward. Last play here for Queensland. They've got them backpedaling. Ball over the top. Well watched from Rogers. And they shut it down. Rackerman was very close to getting over there.
No one's made the touch. No one's made the touch. I don't know what's going on. Referees have no idea. There's no ref in the centre of the field.
What's happening? There's all sorts of stuff going on at the moment. Queensland are playing the whistle, which is one. But now, we've got absolutely no idea what's going on there. Everybody stopped, including the referee.
So Rackerman's actually stepped off her left foot. Tammy Rogers missed her. So did Zara Nicholas. And everyone stopped. So did the referees. All the players had no idea what was going on.
We were confused in the box.
Rackerman stood there for about 15 seconds wondering, well, no one's got me. What do I actually do with the ball?
Which, for that matter, makes it quite interesting that there was no, I suppose, false touch called as well.
No one said probably yes. No one said yes. They just went, I didn't get her. Play on.
Rackerman eventually decided she would continue on, and that was one of the longest plays you'll ever see. A good 30 seconds by the time it finished. But at half-time, New South Wales do take in a nice little lead here, and there is plenty to play for in the second 20, but at half-time in the Women's Open, it's New South Wales 2, Queensland 0.
If you suffer from muscular aches and pains, you want a massage gel that provides effective relief. Try Physiocrem. Physiocrem contains menthol and naturally derived active ingredients: arnica, hypericum, calendula, melaleuca. Use Physiocrem for the temporary relief of muscular aches and pains. Physiocrem is available at your local pharmacy, Coles and Woolworths. Use Physiocrem.
Players and referees ready.
Welcome back to CX Coffs International Stadium. Second half about to get underway for the Women's Open Division. The final match of a three-game series. Queensland have already wrapped it up, but New South Wales striking back here for the final match. They lead 2-0. Jackson Mills, who stood out in that first half for you?
Well, Danny Davis took it upon herself to set up those two tries. One try coming from right to left on the sweep, and it was Courtney Young throwing that massive long ball. So those two definitely have the hot hand. Would you consider Queensland to be a bit rattled, James?
I think so. New South Wales have come out with a game plan to throw it around a fair bit. They're asking plenty of questions, which perhaps they hadn't done in the first couple of games. Seen plenty of trick shots fired, running at pace as well. And they have won the momentum battle so far, New South Wales. Here they come once more through Dybel up through the centre. Oh, geez, a pass fired straight into the face of Myolo, who did really well to take it. Nearly crunched by Files as well. And after the first minute in the second half, once more New South Wales showing they can get downfield pretty easily. Curtis gets up over halfway. Good meters on offer there. Support coming now through Andresen. About 35 away from the opposition try line. Tiani Bryce, who really hasn't seen much time on the field so far. Andresen, they've opened them up here, Queensland, and they will get their first try of the match. Ash Carney dives in, and all of a sudden we are back to a very tight ball game.
Yeah, that's dangerous for New South Wales, watching Queensland run effortlessly to the try line through Carney. And Tiani Bryce, you mentioned it, hasn't seen much time on the field, dishing it off. And it's Andreasen coming around, and Carney beating both Mayolo and Isabella Slattery on the outside, just showing how good her foot speed is and why probably one of the best in the game. Getting at the line too, you see her diving all the time, Carney.
So New South Wales looking to respond. Nice and quick here to 4. Opposite for Duff. Duff still getting away from the defenders. Davis back to Michaelopoulos. Steps off the right foot. Here is Danny Davis now. She loves when she's got a retreating defensive line. Ball over the top. Well watched though. Crawford could go nowhere. Nice stuff there from Goodsall, who's had a very strong series so far.
Has been. It was a touch pass in the middle. Madama Thomas just getting the flick on Danny Davis's boot. And she'll tap it 7 metres out for Queensland.
The Queensland coming away from their own end here. Here's Tiani Bryce. Give me a bit more time in this second half. Ooh, risky ball over the top. An awkward release too. Certainly wasn't spinning. Up over halfway they come now. Maddock plays it. Good little roll on here for Queensland. But well stopped in the end though from DeFore. Definitely looks to be getting a little bit dangerous when she stepped up to shut down the Queensland attack. Here is DeFore now. Duff in at acting half. Michaelopoulos drives forward up over halfway. DeFore once more. Very busy in this set. She heads towards the substitutions box. Nice transition too from New South Wales. Young doesn't quite get the strike jump though. Danny Davis can't apply much pressure there, and it was just that last roll ball. A little bit slow there on that occasion, Jackson.
And then he went about 20 metres in 5 touches, so credit to Queensland's defence. New South Wales just unable to get the roll ball going forward. You see Queensland now back on the attack.
Carney has just picked up that try herself. Certainly can scoot. The dummy comes in from Susie, the captain. Carney once more. Carney's dangerous. Carney finds it over the tip. Oh, you've got to love that if you're a Queenslander. Pinpoint accuracy. Paige Markey is on the spot, and we've got a level ball game.
Well, it was a lack of drive from New South Wales that gave Queensland good field position starting into the set. We see Susie setting up the attack for Carney. Steps open. Carney digging right into the line. That's Saver middle. Shelley Davis just let her run through. Davis was actually 30 centimetres to a metre behind the try line and just gifting open space for Carney and setting up Markey in the wing. Well, just like that, under 5 minutes played in the second half, in Queensland are back level. 2 tries.
Oh, Files didn't get back though,
but
so that will be a try here to Myolo. Yes, confirmed. So 3 tries to 2. And Jackson, I was just going to say, I mean, it's been 20 minutes, an entire half of hard work to get that little buffer erased in the space of about 3 or 4 sets.
Well, don't count New South Wales out yet. That's Mayolo who's picked up her second try off the right foot, getting low under Files, not making it back inside. Referee signalling all clear. Loves her sport, Mayolo, working for the Sydney Swans at the moment. Doing what she does best, which is scoring tries for New South Wales.
The Bryce drops it off. Long ball coming again. They've got a little bit of space there. Rackerman hasn't crossed so far in this match. He was desperate to get around Rogers, though, who was watchful. Ball didn't arrive far enough, and you can see Sammy Rogers has been in the walls over the past couple of games. Plenty of dives. That's a lovely pass coming from Duff to find Michael Opoulos. Plenty of meterage on it. Bryce comes in to shut down to 4th. Yeah, and they'll get another 6 there.
Thought it might have been a little bobble in the ruck, but referee indicating a little cheeky foot in the ruck by Tiani Bryce.
Michael Opoulos now. Big bend into the chest there of Marama Thomas, who went reeling just a little bit from it. DeFore slows things down. Ooh, risky pass very close towards the hands of Files. Now gets in an acting half.
I'm going to say that's the winger making the touch. DeFore is correct in identifying that Sammy Rogers was open for a try. Unfortunately, the pass not executing on the mark, but that was the correct option. Rackerman coming in, making the touch.
And now finding plenty of space here as well, Rackerman, up over halfway. Files now, works it towards the middle. This is the one problem, though. We're trying to take that quick option. There's no support here for Queensland. Eventually, they'll get a bit of reinforcements arriving. Maddox still looking for players, and that is, of course, the consequence of trying to operate down that short side. Now it looks to be a better roll on, though, for Queensland. Maddox off the left foot. Very sharp work. Sargent says straighten things up here. Oh, what have they called there, Jackson?
They said they played the ball without actually being touched, was signalled by the referee. It is annoying, especially when you're a player and you're about to stick your arm out and play the ball and the defender pulls out at the last minute. It's a little cheeky little...
Jeez, that was close to forward. The Queensland have just turned it over, as you mentioned, Jackson, and New South Wales nearly responded in like kind. That one's certainly going to be a penalty against Queensland there. Very heavy contact on Sammy Rogers, who's back to her feet now.
There's definitely going to be contact on someone that's touched the ball nearly every set in this game, Sammy Rogers.
So she'll have a little break now. As Davis and Young operate through the middle passage. Here's Courtney Young again. Rochelle Davis from right to left and a little bit of hot potato passing over the top. Young now off the right foot. Oh, tried to get away from the touch of Mai. He just got there in time. Young tips it on to Danny Davis. Davis, big dummy comes out. Sargent was on the spot though. And she closed it down and saved that issue like Private Ryan.
Good touch in the end by Sargent. I actually fell for that dummy from Davis for a second. I thought she was going to turn it back on the inside. So deceptive. Sometimes it's not even in the ball movement. It's in the eyes. When you get eye contact with the attacker, sometimes they can throw you off just by looking. Sometimes it's important to actually watch the ball, watch the player's hips. Never, ever look in the eyes.
Well, if there's one thing I learned from Shakira, it's that your hips don't lie. So that's a very good observation from you, Jackson Mills. So Andresen comes forward. Curtis at overrunner. Out of acting half. Andresen again now. Gets the touch. Curtis flinging it on here. to Susie, who straightens. Now they're looking to launch an attack. Andresen, though, was never going to get around Davis, who had already retreated the distance. Little wry smirk, too, from Davis. We knew she had a measure. Halfway through the set here for Queensland. New South Wales with a slim little margin. 11.5 to go here at CX Coffs International Stadium. Series already claimed by Queensland, but by no means a dead rubber. Neither one of these sides wants to give an inch here. Curtis picks it up. Here they come on the charge. Queensland back through the middle, but Duff is there to reel it in. Now New South Wales can launch their own counter-attack. Maiolo comes up through the middle. Curtis makes the touch. The four keeps things going and heading towards that sideline. In fact, it's Davis. Now Nicholas is out there up over halfway. Crawford onto Dybel. Meters on offer here for New South Wales. Great run. Slattery off the right foot. She's worked an overlap. Oh, they just had to keep the width there, New South Wales. Still could be alive. Tries to get the ball at the top. Slattery, the passes just behind the supporting player. But once more, Queensland in danger on that set.
So much going on from New South Wales. I think every player touched the ball in that set. Queensland coming up with an error. So New South Wales gifted good field position. 10 minutes played in the second half. 3 tries to 2 in favour of New South Wales. As we mentioned, Queensland have already wrapped up the series, but New South Wales, if they can score another try here, that might panic the Queenslanders.
So Davis drops it off, receives it back here from Slattery. It comes off the left foot, wants to engage that defensive line. Maddock not falling for it, nor is Tiani Bryce. Now Bryce eventually makes the challenge. Not coming up quickly enough. So it has worked there for New South Wales. Another set to play with. Slattery being grabbed from Danny Davis. Slattery, short ball. Oh, Dybel. Wonderful hands. Rogers with the outstretching arm. Just a great touch at the depth there. Marima Thomas. The Dybel fires it on. Great play from both sides in attack and defence respectively. And Bryce, good pressure there, Jackson.
Simple error. New South Wales, they're the ones that kill you. Just simple passes from New South Wales going to ground. And again, you don't want to let Queensland get a roll on as they do so well.
Exactly what they've done here. Maddock drops it off. Fortunately, a nice heavy touch from New South Wales, just slowing momentum a little bit there. It's still operating through that central passage with Mai. Oh, good ball back to it. Flings it over the top. Can Rackerman get away? Oh, wonderful cover defence from Crawford, who did not give up on the play at any point. The Slattery now can work it away. So too Dybel. In comes Michaelopoulos, who fires a late pass. Davis trying to work Rogers into a gap. Once more, very expansive play from New South Wales. They have thrown it around plenty in this match. Potentially that was always the way to get around it. And that's quite forward. You're right, Jackson, with the jumping in the box here. Spot on the money. Might have to put you on as a linesman.
Everyone in the world thinks they're the best referee until you're actually out there. It's actually quite a difficult job. There's so much going on. You have to watch the play of the ball, players off the ball. You got to remember the tackle count. That's probably the hardest thing, I reckon, remembering what touch it actually is.
The big question I have for you is when you're actually out there on the field, do you remember what you're saying right now in the box?
Absolutely nothing.
Can't imagine the competitive genes take over. Touch comes in there from DeFore. Now Maddock. Maddock off the left foot, then diving like Superman through a little gap. They just shut it down in time, but that was pretty crazy stuff from Maddock. Back to the 7-metre mark they come. Andresen. Maddock once more with the fancy footwork. Andresen over the top. Crawford does a great job to shut things down. But what about the skill, the agility, the sheer gymnastics of it all there from Maddock?
Was very good athleticism from Maddock. But again, Crawford making a try-saving touch. That's 2 in a row from Crawford out on that left-hand touchline. Comes from a breather now. Doing her bit for her state. Crawford's been strong all campaign. We see Davis now out of half, met by Maddock. Little questions asked at the ref. Oh, the referee's nearly done an ankle. Trying to juggle the ball. The crowd goes up. Nothing better seeing that. Oh, that's a classic. Nearly does his ankle, just trying to kick the ball back to the mark. The crowd love that one.
Well, this is why we don't kick in touch football. Things like that happen once you bring that into the equation. Sargent comes forward. Here now is Thomas. Last play. No ankles being done so far from the referees. Oh, not a great ball. Still alive here and almost crouching as if she was afraid of the pass on that occasion there. Was the wide person out there for Queensland? I think it might have been Goodsall. So with about 6.5 minutes to go, New South Wales still in a good position here. Oh, they pass very deep on their own line. Young now straightens things up. Heavy touch coming in from Bryce. And Young wanted the penalty, not forthcoming. Maiolo, big dummy, opens up half a gap. They keep operating down that short side. Oh, Bryce again coming in with heavy contact. That's a good run, though, from Duff. Rogers into acting half. Dybel only knows one way, and that's directly up through the middle of the pit. Not a bad end to the set, really, though, for New South Wales, given where they were after about 3 or 4 plays. However, Queensland working quickly here. Markey with room to move. Michaelopoulos is there, but the ball goes to ground. Another set to come here for Queensland. They're just starting to creak a little bit. Where can they get that levelling try from, Jackson?
We've seen her all campaign. I'm thinking it's Maddock, the 6. She's sweeping round right to left with the ball. So I thought she was going to get the ball there, but it's been Maddock with the hot hand. Carney scored a few tries out in the left-hand link. I'd say Maddock has the ability to throw both left to right and right to left. He's had her hands in many try assists over the past 3 games.
Well, here she is now, receiving from acting half. Maddock, stopping on a run. Trying to open up just half a gap. Closing in on just 5 minutes remaining. Maddock once more with ball in hand. Drops it off. Receives from acting half. Now quickly switching the emphasis back out wide. Oh, the arms went flying up from Pappenhausen. Did enough to put them off. Floats it away to Susie. Now Maddock. Susie in at acting half again. Maddock off the left foot. Oh, breaking ankles in the process. Flicked on twice. Oh, it would have been pretty superb had it come off. Just falling short of Paige Markey, though.
Man, my knees are hurting after watching Maddock come off that left foot. At speed through all the pressure through the left knee. Again, great defensive effort by New South Wales. Pappenhausen's again shutting it down twice in a row on that left-hand touchline. Getting the skills from Crawford. Great defensive wingers New South Wales have, as well as Rogers in the mix. But that's probably the 5th time in a row New South Wales haven't been able to hit their 7 and really give themselves an attacking opportunity. Credit to the Queensland defence. They are trailing by 1, Queensland. Time on the side of New South Wales, 4 to play. Can Queensland squeeze in a late try here in the second?
Lundrason comes up over halfway. Now Mai drives deep. Good release there for Walsh. Mai once more. Gets the touch from Duff. Walsh, last play, over the top. Rogers watching well. Markey had shifted to the left-hand side, and Rogers followed her all the way across. Made sure there couldn't be any opening whatsoever. With about 3.5 remaining, time really is beginning to become quite a pressure here for Queensland. Maiolo in at acting half to 4. Drives up towards the 10-metre mark, shy of the halfway line. Flat pass from DeFore. Maiolo up over halfway. Nicholas pops it off. DeFore once more. Here to Rochelle Davis. Lovely right to left cutout ball. Oh, Maiolo had an opportunity to link with Nicholas there. Didn't take it. Davis comes forward. And smart play from Rochelle Davis. Ran directly at the offside Rebecca Maimai.
The Queensland player down in back play. Caught something in the eye. I think it's Hinarangi and Andreasen. Must have caught a head knock. Maybe a finger in the eye. He seems to be all right. She's walking fine. Carney now comes on into the defensive line.
Davis to Rochelle Davis, diving from a long way out. Rachel Walsh was on the spot, though.
Tell you what, James, this is an important set for New South Wales. If they score here, it's going to be very difficult for Queensland to score 2 tries in 2 minutes.
One thing they want to do is avoid the drop-off New South Wales. Then it becomes very much a lottery. Young over the top, floating pass. Oh, Crawford did a great job to reel it in. Backwards out of the hands, did float forward. Nicholas in an acting half. Now to Young. Full pressure up on Rochelle Davis. Here is Danny Davis. So Davis to Davis. Now back to Danny with the big dummy. Last play coming in. Rochelle to Courtney Young. Oh, Young threatened to engage the line. Good watchful defence again, Rebecca Maimai. A couple of massive plays in the last few sets for her. So up they come once more. Walsh. Queensland know this is pretty much their last opportunity. They might get one more set after this. Forward they come now with Walsh. Kiani Bryce. Files is off back on the field now. Bryce drives hard and straight. Here she is now picking up the ball once more. Davis, got away from the first touch, just getting in there in time there was Nicholas. And Rochelle Davis has been left on the ground. He's a bit sore and sorry. We saw Andresen go down for Queensland last set. They might need to find a quick replacement. He's not looking good out there.
Well, this will be tackle 2 inside their own 7-metre mark. The Queensland looking for a big defensive effort to get one more shot at the line. That's tackle 4.
Rogers done a great job there to try and straighten things up. And on the last, they at least make it to the halfway line. Dybel back into the action and great meters on offer. They try and bat it forward.
They need to get on it.
They'll get one more set here, Queensland. Just over a minute remaining. New South Wales don't want to give away a penalty, but more importantly, they don't want to try to be conceded. So they'll be doing everything in their power to stop exactly that happening. Crawford makes the touch as it's dropped off from Maddox. Rackerman is out there. Now Andresen. Andresen to the centre of the field. Duff makes the touch. They've got them backpedaling. Here they come. Carney with the ball. Markey. Good defence, though, from Rogers. Turns it back on the inside. Pressure up more. Slattery was there. It's still 6s and 7s here for New South Wales. Ball back over the top. Rogers shuts it nicely, and that's it for New South Wales. Pumping that set, but they've survived Jacksonville.
Great defensive effort. Good scrambling defence by New South Wales. I tell you what, Queensland have had a lot of attacks on the line, but it just didn't look like scoring against that New South Wales defence. So credit to them. Yes, Queensland take the shield back north, but credit to New South Wales as well for sticking it out for this third game.
Good ball released here. Slattery trying to find an opening here for Crawford. And with about 3 seconds left on the clock, the siren will sound. New South Wales, they might not have come away with a series victory, but they'll still be very pleased with their efforts in this final of 3 fixtures for the Women's Open. They went into half-time 2-0 up. Queensland staged a bit of a comeback to 2-2. And that late try coming in the form of Maiolo was just enough to give New South Wales the victory. Jackson Mills, who is your woman of the match?
Yeah, it's a tough call, James. Few of them had their hands in everything. I mean, Rogers was in everything, trying to get a touch on the ball every single set. Davis, plenty of injections. Dyball as well. Maiolo with 2 tries. It's hard to put it down. I wouldn't know who to give the Dally M points to. I guess scoring 2 tries is something special at State of Origin level. So Maiolo, the number 4, really doing herself proud as well as her state. So congratulations to Queensland for wrapping up the series. But again, credit to New South Wales to avoid the whitewash and beating Queensland, a dominant Queensland side throughout this campaign. So well done to New South Wales on this occasion.
Of course, that means that across the 3 matches, Queensland winning game 1 4-0, game 2 6-3, but New South Wales victorious in the final fixture 3-2. Now, don't you go too far either. We've got an absolute ripping contest to close out the action here for the final day of the 2022 State of Origin series from Coffs Harbour. It is the Men's Open, a decider between New South Wales and Queensland.